It's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Don't do that. That's when you feel like a big dope, 'cause they're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you reach out for the hot tag and you go ahead and make your own comeback. That's when you should quit wrestling, and you're better off rolling in thumbtacks. Yeah, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Wow, Nelly. Heavens to Murgatroyd, sweet mother of pearl, every which way from Sunday. How's it hanging, you gosh darn rootin' tootin' sharp shooting gunslinging outlaws? Good to be with you again. My name is Bob. Thanks for listening. Pardon me, to the hardest part of the ring. It feels like forever. Does it not? Because now, with Raw on Monday and NXT on Tuesday, there's a much bigger gap. Like, I gotta bang out 2 of these, and then what do we do? I don't know. I'm running out of toys to buy. The fun box for you crazy cats, you rabid dogs, you screaming Vikings, you filthy barbarians, you wild savages, rubbing elbows, greasing palms, you're hip to the scene. You know what's going on, Bob Squad. I can dig it. Oh, let's talk about Raw. I sat through Raw. I made it. 1 week at a time. I can never promise I'm doing the next week's Raw. I'm just going to take it 1 week at a time and see what I can get through. And this was barely good enough, so we did it. This was on Hulu. This is the Hulu version. I don't know what I missed. I have no idea what I missed. Poor Asuka had to wrestle twice, but it's a 3-hour show. What are we doing? I don't know the answers. I'm just whistling Dixie, guys. Just being the best Bob I can be, if you know what I mean, and I think that you don't. Oh, goodness. Let's talk about the hardest part. Let's talk about the Raw. We opened the show. You're not going to believe this, but Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. It's probably on Peacock. Can't tell. Oh, let's back up. I always do this. So I looked on Peacock because I was having a conversation with Bob Squad member Chris Piwa of Chase. Pardon me today. I'm choking all over the place. I was talking with Chris of Chasing 80s Toys, and I mentioned, oh, you know, it'd be fun. I haven't done an old wrestling one in a while. Let me do a Saturday Night's Main Event. I used to love those things from the late 80s, early 90s. I used to love those Saturday Night's Main Events. And I couldn't find them on Peacock. I went all through the Peacock version of the WWE Network, and I could not find any. There were none to be found. I was disappointed. I was flim-flammed. I was shim-shammed. I was bamboozled. They put the carpet out from under my feet and pulled the wool over my eyes. They were pulling my leg and yanking my chain, pissing blood and bleeding piss, and my one-trick pony beating a dead horse, Daddy. What the hell happened? So I can't even find those. So, I have no idea what we're going to do, but I do want to do another old show for you guys very soon. I just no longer have access to them. I can only, so basically I was stuck watching the 30-minute Damian Priest documentary, which is cool. I like him just fine, but you have no choice. Like, if you go down on Peacock, like, you go down the lines, there's an entire section, like 8 videos for Ronda Rousey, who's not there and hasn't been there in 2 years. Why do I care? Like, why is there a Ronda Rousey section in Peacock? I don't need one. Why is there a Braun Strowman section? All the people I hate. There's a stupid goddamn Braun Strowman section. Okay, we open up Raw with a 6-woman tag. Charlotte is now friends with Nia Jax for no reason, and Shayna Baszler. The 3 of them are bad. They are evil. They are miscreants. They are no good. They are villains. They are rule breakers, and they are going to compete in a 6-woman tag team contest against Asuka and the Sexy Muscle, the team that Asuka named and they never used, the Sexy Muscle Friends, which is Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. This was a classic example, if you watch this entrance, of everyone's so stuck and forced to do their pose that they couldn't be more unnatural doing it. because Mandy and Dana come out and they do their double bicep and they look at each other and they just kind of nod and smile, but they're nodding and smile for way too long, and we don't know what they're nodding and smiling about because they're waiting for Asuka, who's going to join them on the top of the ramp, and then they walk down. So then Asuka has to do her thing. It's they're such slaves to these mannerisms. Like Asuka does her kind of shuffle and stuff to her music, which makes sense. That's fine. But then Mandy and Dana are trying to do their pose and bob up and down to Asuka's music because God forbid they do anything else other than the one thing they're allowed to do. It doesn't. It looks so unnatural. And the three of them, the three good guys, good baby faces. I hate saying faces now. It just sounds so stupid to talk like that anymore. What's the difference? But your heroes, your fan favorites. I'm just gonna do that like old wrestling mags. Your fan favorites stand in the center of the proverbial squared circle. Let's talk like idiots, because why not? I'm watching an idiotic show. So Oscar, Mandy, Dana have to do their poses, and again, Dana and Mandy have to do the same bicep, but of course they stand on either side of Oscar and stare at each other and nod like they can't. I know there's no crowd they could look at and be like, "Hey, come on, let's go!" Wave my hands in the air, but yeah, it just looks goofy. Yeah, it's so. They find a new way to water down and sterilize this product every week in ways I couldn't imagine. Remember when they gave stupid goddamn Braun Strowman the train noise? I think that blew all of us out of the water because we never even imagined they would do something that stupid. And I think they did it twice, and then they got rid of it. But still, they didn't do it at Mania because A, he would have been laughed out of the arena, and B, he was stuck in a cage. Anyway, we have this match, and not much happens. So Alexa Bliss shows up on the ramp with her stupid doll Lily and a giant swing set, and somehow the assembling of a giant swing set did not distract any of these six women or the referee. But Shayna gets pinned, so there's a break. They come back. Shayna has like a knee problem. She stumbles and she gets stuck trying to, instead of making a tag, and Asuka knees her in the face. And Asuka pins Shayna because, of course, we have to pin Shayna. We gotta protect Nia at all costs for no reason, which is going nowhere. Yeah, I guess I did hate this show. Wow, okay, jeez. Maybe I was just in a good mood watching a shitty show. And I guess so Alexa does a goofy laugh, and they play the audio of the doll doing this really fake snickering laugh. And I don't want to be like a hipster douche and use the word cringe, but God, that's all I could think of. This is so cringy, embarrassingly bad. They just kept doing it. Lily's not scary. Uh, Alexa jumped the shark when she bled the black goo at Mania. That was the end of her good performances trying to save this. That was the end of her making chicken salad out of chicken shit days for this. Because she was doing great for the months before that. But whatever. They recapped the tomato thing. I guess throwing tomatoes is a weekly thing now on Raw. Because Vince thinks it's 1932. Oh, bad guys are throwing tomatoes at good guys. I'm not gonna. What am I doing here? Um, I don't know. At one point, maybe this is it. Yeah, the Omos guy who tags with AJ, he grabbed a tomato and he squeezed it. And somewhere Jim Ross is like, Danny Hodge can do that with an apple. Like we know Jim Ross. Well, this guy did it with a tomato, which is probably way easier because apples are hard. The New Day, Riddle and Randy Orton are all backstage, and Orton tells him he's going to be serious and not care about tomatoes and beat up the bad guys. Well, okay, so there's an adult in the room. That's nice. Which is a shame because I like all four of the guys on the screen. I really do. I think New Day's gone full goofy. New Day and AJ Styles, oddly enough, who's also going to be in this big match, this 8-man match later. I think New Day and AJ Styles are officially in senioritis, collect a paycheck until they fire you someday mode. Oh, does a recap of Drew and Lashley from Drew being attacked by Lashley at Elimination Chamber. I don't know why. That was in February. Drew McIntyre is gonna fight Bobby Lashley later in a WrestleMania rematch. Okay. MVP knocks on stupid goddamn Braun Strowman's door, and that's the end of that segment. I'm glad we needed to see him knock on a door. These things are hard to do, especially Raw, especially no NXT too. It's hard to write down notes for these because like every 20 seconds it's a different stupid backstage thing. Like we need to see this guy walking. We need to see this person knock on a door and not have the door answered, or have the door answered. Or we need to see a blonde lady ask a guy a question and the guy says nothing and walk away. Do we need to see all that? I don't think we do. I don't think we need to. So many of those can be cut down. It was the Attitude Era that started the stupid "this guy's walking backstage" shot. They never stopped because you're living in the past. You're all living in the past. What happens now? They announced the Priest will wrestle The Miz at Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash. Yes, they're calling it that, which means we still have to stare at the stupid pirate for another 6 days. Or the stupid pirate ship. Anyway, there's a backstage thing with Pierce, and we have to set this up with a backstage thing. Adam Pearce, the commissioner guy, has Miz and Morrison, who calls himself Johnny Drip Drip, which is getting old. Damian Priest is there, and Priest is going to fight Morrison. The winner picks a stipulation for Priest versus Miz at the pay-per-view this Sunday. Very nice. Jinder Mahal is back on TV. Oh, between him and Eva Marie, all the winners, all the real charismatic dynamos are just coming back left and right. Jinder Mahal has two big guys with him. Then Jinder wrestles Jeff Hardy. They have a match. Jinder wins, and the two big guys are still big. And then we have an 8-man tag. Jinder and Jeff gets 976 stars. The 6-woman tag gets 3,844 stars. AJ, Omos, Elias, and the big racist guy wrestle Orton, Riddle, and the New Day, and not a lot happens. Randy Orton hits an RKO on Elias and pins him. The match gets 44,332 stars. Okay, that's my system. Don't ask me to explain it. It's very complicated. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Very serious man. Very serious. But MVP and Lashley are backstage with an Irish guy. God damn. Mark from the Bob Squad, you called it. They are trying so hard to get this guy to not sound like an Irish guy, and he sounds half as Irish as he used to, but you can tell because he's a person from that area of the world. Asuka. My stupid neighbor's yelling up on the other side of the wall. I don't know, this guy just yelled. Just an old asshole just yelled, "Shut up! Asshole!" Hate this guy. Anyway, Asuka wrestles again in the 3-hour program. She's wrestling Rhea Ripley. So on the same show, we know at Backlash on Sunday, we're having a 3-way with Asuka, Rhea, Charlotte, and a 3-way with stupid goddamn Braun Strowman, Bobby, and Drew. And we're having 2 matches where 2 of the 3 wrestle each other. We're booking the exact same thing at the same time, on the same show. Probably in the same hour, too. It's hard to tell with Hulu, but most likely. So Asuka wrestles Rhea Ripley in an okay match that I really couldn't get into. I like them both, but we know Charlotte's going to enter soon, and that's what this is really going to be about, and there's really not going to be much of a match here. And there wasn't. They did some cool stuff. You can always see, and I like this stuff because it looks more real, because you can always see the communication gap, especially when Asuka wrestles. And Rhea hasn't wrestled her as much as Charlotte and Asuka have wrestled more than a handful of times. But there's a little stumble here, a little forcing someone into position here and there because the communication is not quite there, so you just kind of have to physically do things. And it's less pretty, it's less smooth, but it's just a little more authentic. So I kind of like those weird little stumbling moments that just kind of make it look like someone's not just waiting to get kicked or being shoved into the turnbuckle, and maybe it takes 2 tries instead of 1 to get them just right. Like, it just feels more authentic. Charlotte's on commentary. She's pretty good. She's with Corey Graves. She calls Corey Graves Gravy at one point, I think, which made me laugh. Why didn't I think of that? They just kind of yell at Byron. They overdo the abusing Byron thing, and I get it. But and it's going to distract from the match. But then again, this match was just there to get to some kind of finish involving Charlotte. And there's a break, and it does. So Rhea gets into it with Charlotte, and Rhea's distracted. And I figure, okay, that's where Asuka's clearly going to get the win, obviously. And Rhea still wins. So how about that? She still beats Asuka clean with her finish. I mean, they've got Asuka into the good hand role 100% down, and she has been for a while. Um, is it a communication? Is it a language thing? Probably. As fans like her, I thought she was one of the unsung heroes of 2020 with all those no fan, no computer screen shows. So was Zelina Vega for that matter, but obviously that's a different story. Um, but yeah, oh well, no good deed, huh? The Irish guy is talking to Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's Scottish. It still sounds more Irish than the Irish guy. Drew's very angry and he's going to beat up Bobby Lashley. The Miz and Morrison wrestle Damian Priest. Priest does wrestle Morrison for the second week in a row. Miz distracts the referee while Morrison is pinning Priest, which doesn't do Priest too many favors, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. Priest does have to beat Miz and at Backlash, though, to get the I'm Bad Bunny's friend thing off of him a little bit. He picks a lumberjack match. All right, there you go. Priest wins the damn thing, and he picks a lumberjack match. Before that, we see another Evolution promo where Eva Marie now has pink hair, and she's a role model and says she's awesome, and has yeah. If you're listening to this, do me a favor. If you're a fan of Braun Strowman, if you're interested in Braun Strowman and you want to see him win a championship, let me know. Let me know in the comments, YouTube, Automatic, Twitter, whatever. I don't give a shit. If you're a fan, if you're excited about the return of Eva Marie, if this was a character is so generous of a word for her. If this is a personality that you needed back on your TV that offered something, that made you feel something, that connected with you somehow, let me know. Somebody tell me how these characters made me feel anything. And yes, I get it. The easy argument is, okay, we let go this one that we all like, the iconic Samoa Joe, etc., etc. Firings and new hirings happen every year around this time too, and a lot of those new hirings are returns. So, kind of get it. But tell me, what did Eva Marie ever mean to you or wrestling? She was on Total Divas. Was she good on that? I don't know. You tell me. If any of these characters mean anything to you, if you're the slightest interest in seeing them, I want to know. Prove me wrong. Bobby Lashley wrestles Drew McIntyre in the best match of the night. Not just because they're beefy and big and grown men. Right away, lockup is believable. The headlock is believable. The physical contact is believable. Drew's firing up is believable. I loved it. I thought it was great. Drew hits his finish, and of course, stupid goddamn Braun Strowman. We know Strowman's going to interrupt this thing, and it'll be some kind of DQ finish, and there was. Strowman does the old, his music plays, but he attacks from behind because he's 300 pounds, 7 feet tall, so he's got to sneak up from behind on you to make you look even stupider. And this night was all about trying to make you think Braun Strowman is a contender for this thing, and that anything's going to happen other than Lashley keeping the thing. I don't know which one of them Lashley beats, but Lashley's being one of them. It's Backlash. Come on. I knew it was coming, but I enjoyed it up until this point. Because at least they didn't have, oh God, help them. Yeah, they didn't put Braun on commentary. They were just like they did with Charlotte. I'm surprised they wouldn't do the same thing for both these stories. But on the other hand, uh, somebody must have been smart enough to say, yeah, don't put Braun on commentary for the whole thing. We just did an 8-year angle. It felt like for him of him telling us he's not stupid. Let's not prove everybody wrong. I'm not a fan. So, stupid goddamn Braun Strowman not only gives Drew his finish, he gives Lashley his big power slam near the ropes, nowhere near the middle of the ring. He's near the ropes, which is the hardest part of the ring, by the way, because it's right next to the apron. So it sounds like shit and probably hurts like hell. Then he does the same thing to Lashley again, but kind of puts him through that barricade thing and makes a big metal clangy noise. And he hits Drew with the thing again. And before he hits Drew with the move, he goes, "I'm a monster," which was preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. So Backlash, this Raw has me most excited about Backlash's Bianca Bailey and Cesaro Roman Reigns matches. And I haven't seen a full SmackDown since they went on Fox. I just watch YouTube clips when something really tickles my taint over there. So who knows? Who knows the answer? I don't know. In the very near future, I don't know exactly when, but sometime in the near future, very near, a new podcast that I'm co-producing and hosting with my buddy Jesse Egan, the Beach Town podcast. It's a men's mental health and entertainment podcast. Is coming very soon. We're working out the kinks. So many kinks. So unfortunately, I don't see more fun boxings coming up in the near future. I can't think of anything I want to buy. There's nothing to buy in the stores. And I have nothing left that's still in its box. But also, oh, yes, you'll see my toy collection in the near future as well on the Chasing 80s toy YouTube channel. So I'm very excited about that. Very excited about that. So things are happening. My Patreon is updated, patreon.com/Bob Hansen Jokes. All the Sun Bob episodes and the fun boxing are there as well if you don't want to play around on YouTube. I have nothing that's private. Everything's public, so you really don't have to be a patron at all to see all my stuff on Patreon, but you're welcome to. You're welcome to make a monthly donate if you want to. You know what? Maybe you can't. I don't even think I set up the tiers. I think I shed some, but I didn't set up any of the tiers. Okay, never mind. Anyway, it's all on Patreon anyway. Figure it out. I'm working on it, folks. I'm working on it. What else did I do today that was of interest? Recording this. Okay. You guys are absolutely tremendous. You're the bee's knees. You're the cat's meow. Thank you, Bob Squad, for listening. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Subscribe. Share this goddamn thing at Bob Hansen Jokes. My NXT ones are a little more fun. Raw is hard to watch, folks. So we're at a bit of a crossroads here. But Backlash, I'll do one of these for WrestleMania Backlash as well, and that should be a bit more fun because I'll see some SmackDown stuff and not repeat myself so much, I hope. So I thank you all. Tip the veal, try the waitress, and do not give your finisher to the world champion on the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da.